what's this? Sleek, new, adventurous, fast, and definitely not a balloon crudely taped to a couple flaps of oatmeal. It is the Hindenburg. With such luxury design as this, who wouldn't want to fly in the sky? Not to mention the record speeds it produced. But something happened. It was a single spark, and the Hindenburg slowly fell and was destroyed almost instantly. I said almost. There we go. Not only was this a disaster, it was the first of many, for something terrible had happened, and it was broadcast live. This set a trend for terrible or great things to frequently interrupt our news. We interrupt this broadcast. It's a bird. It's a plane. Nope. It's an ordinary citizen. Just a dude. And that's what's so exciting about this. For the first time, a civilian will go into outer space on the Challenger space program. And to top it all off, it was someone the U.S. looked up to. It was very much a teacher. Incredible, right? The youth thought so too. The very person who was putting all of that wealth of knowledge in their heads was going into the great unknown of space. It amazed them. Liftoff was an normal American liftoff. Nothing unusual, just a great show of power by the United States. Something to be expected by the many watching. But suddenly, crack, bang. As explosions were sent through the sky, smoke oddly parted in two ways, making a distinct Y shape. Something that was unusual and not expected by the many watching. Faces shifted from excitement and patriotism to the United States, to confusion, to shock and horror at what they realized they were watching. It was terrible. Something unexpected had happened, showing America that space, while it looked nice and pretty, was often simply death in disguise. The Soviets were at it again, challenging the US for the power that they had. It was your classic Cold War story, superpower versus superpower. This time, it was about how to get to a rock first. Yep, just a rock, but in space. Ooh, how wacky. After years of practice, the NASA shuttle was ready to go, and thousands of people were eagerly watching their TV sets and radios. When liftoff did happen, you could hear cheers from every mile of the United States. News reporters were going wild, celebrating the fact that their country had beaten Russia to the space. It's not just any rock. It is quite a special rock, if you ask me, because it inspired so many of the Americans to dream and hope. Finally, a good interruption for TV. Europe was divided, the freedom-loving West and the Soviet communist East. And Germany was caught right down the middle of this action, divided straight in half by democracy and communism. This barrier was not just figurative either. To them, it was very much real. And for that, you can thank this Soviet Chad who put up a literal concrete wall dividing East and West Berlin. For months, there were protests by people on both sides of the wall, and intervention and pressure from the United States of America. What a lad. And finally, this other Russian Chad agreed to lessen travel restrictions. However, he told an officer wrong, and an oopsie by the writing and wording made people think the wall was being taken down. But it was too late. The consequences had already been set. Some came at it with bare fists to tear it down. Some came with hammers. And some found creative and exciting new ways to destroy this. And bit by bit, it was coming down. and families and friends were reunited for the first time in years. It was a truly magical moment for the people of Germany. And a few years later, Germany reunified. This shows that not all interruptions are bad, and not all broadcasts are good. But we must continue to interrupt broadcasts to get the word out to people. Because history is in the making, and history is in broadcasting.